Biblical Mysteries 2025 presents the Genesis Book, Part 1, The Important Book. In the opening verses of Genesis, the cosmos emerges from a profound void where darkness and silence reign. Here, the concept of origin takes center stage, marking the beginning not only of the universe, but of every story, every life, and every faith. The narrative unfolds with a sense of awe, as light pierces the darkness and order rises from chaos. This mystical moment invites us to contemplate the grandeur of creation, where the divine breath animates all existence. The significance of these beginnings resonates through time, shaping our understanding of purpose and destiny. In this cinematic expanse, the act of creation becomes a sacred foundation, connecting the mysteries of the cosmos to the depths of human experience. Genesis stands as the foundational book of the entire Bible, setting the stage for everything that follows. It introduces the origins of the world, humanity, and the relationship between God and His creation. Understanding Genesis is essential for grasping the overarching themes and messages found throughout Scripture. The Bible itself is not a single book, but a library composed of many different writings, historical accounts, poetry, prophecy, and letters, each contributing to a unified story. Despite their diversity, these books together reveal a continuous narrative of God's interaction with humanity. Genesis provides the starting point, helping readers see how every part of the Bible connects within this grand story. Throughout history, humanity has sought to unravel the mysteries of existence through science. From exploring the vastness of the cosmos to decoding the intricacies of life, scientific discovery has provided remarkable insights into how our world operates. Yet, there remain profound questions that science alone cannot answer. Questions about meaning, purpose, and the origins of morality. These enduring philosophical and spiritual inquiries are addressed uniquely in the book of Genesis. While science explains the mechanisms behind creation, Genesis offers a narrative of divine intention and purpose. This contrast highlights the complementary roles of scientific exploration and spiritual reflection in humanity's ongoing quest for understanding. The world we inhabit is a place of striking contrasts, where breathtaking beauty exists alongside undeniable brokenness. According to the account in Genesis, this paradox finds its roots in the earliest chapters of human history. The narrative describes a time when paradise was lost, as the first humans chose to turn away from divine guidance. This act introduced sin into the world, fundamentally altering the relationship between humanity and creation. The consequences rippled outward, shaping the environment, human interactions, and the very fabric of existence. Yet, even amid the scars of this loss, glimpses of the original beauty remain, reminding us of what once was and what could be. The tension between splendor and suffering continues to define our experience, inviting reflection on the deeper meaning of our world. Genesis stands at the foundation of the Bible, introducing the essential doctrines that shape the entire narrative of Scripture. In its opening chapters, we encounter the nature of God as creator, the dignity and purpose of humanity, and the origins of sin and redemption. The stories and teachings found in Genesis lay the groundwork for understanding who God is and how He relates to His creation. Beliefs about the fall of humanity and the promise of salvation trace their roots back to these early passages. Notably, Jesus Himself affirmed the historical truth of Genesis, referencing its events and figures as real and significant. This endorsement underscores the importance of Genesis in forming the core beliefs that define the Christian faith. Throughout history, the book of Genesis has faced persistent scrutiny and skepticism, both from within religious circles and from secular perspectives. These attacks often center on the authenticity of its creation account and its foundational role in shaping Judeo-Christian beliefs. Accepting the truth of Genesis is seen by many as affirming the authority of Scripture and the divine origin of humanity, while rejecting it can lead to a diminished view of spiritual purpose and moral absolutes. The spiritual stakes are significant, as Genesis lays the groundwork for understanding sin, redemption, and the relationship between God and mankind. Notably, there is a profound connection between Genesis and Revelation. Genesis introduces the beginning of creation and the fall of man, while Revelation describes the ultimate restoration and fulfillment of God's plan. Together, these books frame the biblical narrative, emphasizing the importance of Genesis in interpreting the entire arc of Scripture. Moses is traditionally recognized as the human author of Genesis, serving as the scribe who recorded its words. However, the significance of Genesis lies not merely in Moses' authorship, but in the divine revelation that guided its creation. The content of Genesis was communicated directly by God, ensuring that its messages and teachings reflect divine intent, rather than personal interpretation. While Moses physically wrote the text, the source of its wisdom and authority is understood to be God himself. This distinction highlights the unique nature of Genesis as both a historical document and a spiritual testament, shaped by human hands, but inspired by a higher power. Genesis offers more than a historical account. It is rich with symbolic and spiritual meaning. Adam and Eve, as the first humans, represent the origins of humanity and the complexities of choice and consequence. Their relationship can be seen as a precursor to the connection between Christ and the Church, where Adam foreshadows Christ and Eve symbolizes the Church. This parallel highlights themes of unity, sacrifice, and redemption woven throughout the biblical narrative. The interplay between history and symbolism in Genesis invites readers to reflect on deeper truths about human nature, divine purpose, and the unfolding story of salvation. Through these layers, the text bridges ancient events with enduring spiritual insights. Throughout history, some have argued that science and scripture are fundamentally at odds. However, discoveries in cosmology, biology, and archaeology have provided intriguing support for the accounts found in Genesis. For example, cosmology reveals a universe with a definite beginning, echoing the Genesis narrative of creation. In biology, the complexity and interdependence of living systems continue to challenge purely materialistic explanations, prompting renewed discussions about origins. Archaeological findings have also unearthed evidence of ancient civilizations and events that align with descriptions in Genesis. These insights suggest that, rather than being outdated, the Genesis account remains relevant and thought-provoking in the context of modern scientific understanding. As research progresses, the dialogue between science and scripture continues to enrich our appreciation of both. Genesis marks the dawn of humanity, where creation unfolds and life begins in harmony with its creator. Yet, as the story progresses, it reveals the challenges and brokenness that enter the world, setting the stage for a journey marked by longing for restoration. Throughout the ages, this journey is guided by the promise that brokenness is not the end. Revelation brings this promise full circle, offering a vision of renewal where all things are made new and hope is restored. The connection between Genesis and Revelation reminds us that, despite setbacks and struggles, the story of humanity is ultimately one of redemption. From the first breath of creation to the final promise of restoration, there is a constant thread of hope, assuring us that renewal is always possible. In the opening verse of Genesis, we encounter a profound declaration. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. This simple yet powerful statement encapsulates the entirety of creation, affirming that everything originates from a singular divine source. It establishes God as the central figure, the architect of all existence, and the foundation upon which reality is built. From this ultimate origin, all things find their purpose and direction. The verse invites us to reflect on the destiny of creation, reminding us that its meaning and fulfillment are inseparable from the Creator. In these words, the story of everything begins and finds its ultimate significance. As our journey through these ancient mysteries draws to a close, we are reminded of the enduring power and wonder woven throughout the biblical narrative. Each discovery opens new doors, inviting us to look deeper and reflect on the stories that have shaped generations. In our next episode, we will continue to unravel the secrets hidden within sacred texts, seeking understanding and inspiration. Let the echoes of faith and curiosity guide you forward, as together we explore the profound mysteries yet to be revealed. The adventure continues, and your presence makes each step more meaningful. Subscribe my channel and following for next videos.